let the dogs out? Who 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 let the dogs out?
Hey everyone, it's Pup Twigs here from Orlando, Florida, and joining me today from Overland Park, Kansas is I've got Pup Momo. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to have you on and everything. It's my first Kansas pup, so I'm all excited.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Represent.
So I like to get in and find a little bit about number one, your name, how you
Yes,
came up with Pup Momo, and also about your hood, if it has any significance to the colors that you've chosen.
absolutely. So my hood is kind of something that it goes way back with my story. So before I was a pet, I was a furry. That's kind of where I started. There's a lot of crossover between those two communities.
Okay.
My persona was very in tune with the color orange. I've always been a fan of the color orange. It's very obnoxious and in your face and bubbly, and I've always really liked those qualities, so I've kind of just stuck with it. Originally, my name was Peaches, and that was fine and all, and I kind of got bored with it for a while, but I really wanted to stick with kind of the orange theme there that I had going, the kind of the paler orange. So I started to translate it to some different languages to see if I could stick with it. And orange in or in Japanese or peaches. That's what it is. Sorry, peaches in Japanese is Momo, and I thought it was adorable, so I ran with it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And I mean no disrespect here because I actually love your colors, but it
Absolutely.
makes me think of candy corn at Halloween.
Can I tell you that I love candy corn and Halloween is my favorite holiday? It's so good. I don't know why people, no disrespect to candy corn. We don't tolerate that here.
Well, no disrespect to either, because I love candy corn as well.
Oh, it's the way to
I
go,
guess
man.
we found the two people or the only ones that like it is right here.
Oh, very good.
So, how long have you been in the pup community now?
So I have been a puppy for roughly like 4 years. When I turned 18, I got my first hood. It was originally blue.
Oh,
That's a fun fact about me. A lot of people don't really know. It was one of those little Amazon ones that you kind of start out with and you try it out. And if you like it, you keep going. So I've been a puppy for about 4 years locally in my community. I've been involved in it for about 2.5 now. I live here in Overland Park, Kansas, which is closer to the Kansas City area. So I've been very involved with Midnight Howl Kansas City. I became an ambassador in May of 23. And so I've been very involved there. So I would say I started really getting involved in my community in April of 22, but I've been a puppy for about 4 years now.
okay. Well, I'm sure in those 4 years you have seen a lot of change to the community. But
Yeah.
in that time frame, what have you found to be the easiest, and then what have you found that's I guess being a little more difficult in the puppy community?
Uh, I have found it very easy to throw my hood on, and I always go out and try to make friends. So getting to throw my hood on and really talk to people and connect with people, just I'm a talker. I like hearing about people and hearing their stories. So the easiest part for me has probably been able to, get out there and talk to people and listen and exchange stories about ourselves and connect with people. So that's probably what I found has been the easiest so far.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
What's been the
And
most difficult?
The most difficult is probably fighting that imposter syndrome. I get imposter syndrome so bad of like, I just, I don't feel my validity as a pet, if that makes sense. I'm like, always in my head, there are other people who are doing it better. I kind of start to listen to those insecurities a bit, and it takes a lot to kind of push them away and remember that, like, I'm invalid. I'm valid in my headspace and as a pet and who I am, especially with my identity as a non-binary pet. I get a lot of like people who typically push more masculine roles on me. And so having to stand up for myself kind of in that position has been a challenge, but I'm finding my footing and I'm finding my ground.
Well,
So
good. Well, you keep standing your ground.
thank you.
So, and this might be an easy one to answer for you, but if there's something that you could change about our community, what would it be?
Oh, there's so many things I want to work on. I would love to push for the use of the term pet rather than pup, just because I love to see it be so much more inclusive. My best friend of 6 or 7 years is a kitten, and I was kind of her gateway drug into the community. She had kind of gone through a rough patch and really needed a place to go, and so I had brought her in and was like, "Hey, come try it." And she tried puppy for a while, but it wasn't really for her, and so she became a kitten. I would love to see people really open their minds to, more different types of pets, ponies, kittens. I've met cows. I met a pterodactyl once. That was wild.
Oh, wow.
Um, but it just, if people would really open their minds to the word pet rather than pup, I think we could really push for more inclusive spaces for where people feel more welcome and included.
And I'll just speak for down here in my group that we have.
Absolutely.
I'm part of the Hound Pound here in Orlando.
Oh,
We have a dragon, we have a cow, uh, we have different ones, and it's awesome when that dragon walks
oh
in.
my goodness.
And all of us pups just have to look up because he's so much taller than the rest of us.
I
Uh,
can imagine. Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing.
yeah, and when we do, anytime we have Pride going on, in fact, the end of this month we have Tampa Pride. We're not doing a pup walk. We call it a critter visibility walk.
Oh, I love that. Oh
We
my
do that
goodness.
both in Orlando and in Tampa. Orlando's Pride Walk won't happen till October.
I see.
But they have a huge festival and we all get together and we just do a critter walk through the festival.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear that. Those little stories of inclusivity, the push for in communities. That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun too.
Oh,
So what advice would you give somebody that's brand new to the community, just looking in thinking, oh, I want to do that, or maybe they've done it and they just don't know where to go?
um, don't overthink it. Just have fun. Throw the hood on, forget your worries, you know, find what works for you because pet play is not going to be the same for everybody. If it's throwing on your hood and communicating in only the noises of your choice, your chosen animal, then so be it. Or if it's kind of just becoming like a social pet where maybe you've got your gear on, you've got your hood on your hip. Everybody just there's such an ebb and flow in pet play and it's so individual to everybody, so just keep trying. Find your groove.
Yeah, good advice. So what brings the most joy to you in pup play?
Um, I love Tamash. I
Mhm.
was actually at an event this last weekend called Sash Bash up in Iowa City, and they had all the mats laid out for the mosh, and Iowa City Pets and Handlers had hosted it, and I people call me Traffic Cone here in Kansas City because of the bright orange, and there's a couple other things um, behind that name, but I won't tell those right now. And so I had noticed that somebody had set out traffic cones on the mat, and just that feeling of getting to turn off your brain and getting to
Yes.
play for a little bit and not worry about having to go to work or pay bills or worry about just electricity and all crazy stuff like that. Just getting to get down and be a dog and forget about my worries
Yeah.
easily.
And I'm with you because I love just throwing this hood on. I mean, this is my escape. Is this right? I love being able to talk to pups all around the world. And
100%.
and this is me in my headspace. I could do this probably all day if I had them lined up all day long.
Oh, same. Oh, I love it. It's so good.
So I know not all pups have it, but do you have any kind of play toys that you like as a pup?
I don't really own any that I like. However, I do have favorites. Those big old squeaker pigs that when you press them, they make those obnoxious noises.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my favorite. Oh my God, I love them. They were at the last mosh that I was at in Iowa City, and I had lined up three of them and handed them out to a couple other pets that were in the circle. And eventually we just started. It was the loudest thing in the room, and the bar got so silent, and people were just looking at us. And it took me a second to realize that people were staring. And then I started going quicker, and oh my goodness, favorite toy to like play with. It's so fun.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I can see that. Um, on a more of a serious note, when you think
Yes.
about, everyone's mental health and everything, what has this been able to do for your mental health?
I over um my title, you're kind of tying into that. This has helped me so much kind of come into my own and recognize my strength as a pet. Um, realize that there really is nothing to be afraid of. My hood is my armor. It's what I put on when I go out. It's what kind of gives me the energy and the strength to go out and talk to people and push to make a difference. For my mental health, I would say it has improved it tenfold. At events, whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed or maybe a little nervous or scared, the hood comes on and Momo comes out, and then it's trouble from there.
That's good.
So I would say that, it has really just helped me kind of grow into my own and boosted my confidence a little because, you know, um, my vanilla life is so much different than the pet life, and it has just helped me kind of become this energetic, bubbly person who will talk your ear off all evening about their favorite toys. You
Yes.
know, I might bark at you a little.
Oh, that's okay.
So yeah, that's what we're rolling with.
Good. Well, so what do you like to get out and do in Overland Park, Kansas as hobbies?
Absolutely. So we used to have a record store here, as you can kind of see in the background. I am an avid audiophile. We used to have a record store here in town, and it just shut down. So now I have to traverse all the way to Kansas City, Missouri, to get my records.
Oh,
I used to go. I liked to go out there a lot and kind of dig through their record bins. I like all kinds of music, so usually I would just find the most tatted dude in the record store and be like, "Hey, recommend me an album, man. I don't care if I haven't heard it before. Like, let's hear it."
yep.
Um, I love to thrift. There are so many neat little thrift stores around here. And
Nice.
Overland Park is in Johnson County, which is in it's one of the more wealthier areas.
Hmm.
So I mean, I try to thrift around the richer neighborhoods to find like the better stuff because they always just throw them out in like droves to the thrift stores, and oh, you can find the coolest stuff.
Oh yeah, I bet you can.
Yes. I also live right next to a mall, so that's fun sometimes. I'll walk in and kind of just go shopping for a day to kind of just get my mind off of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, thrift, look for music, walk around the mall.
That works. That works for me. So what about animals of your own? Do you have any pets?
Not currently, but at the last place that I lived, I had a corgi named Cyrus, and he was the sweetest little guy. So stubborn, but loved him to death. Currently, no
Yeah.
pets.
All right, and that's okay. There's time for that.
100%. I plan on getting another corgi at some point, so it's in the works.
So what is the pup community like there in Overland Park, or do you have to travel to Kansas City to take
Yep.
part in some events?
So it's Kansas City. So Midnight Howl Casey is kind of where I'm involved. Overland Park, there's a couple of us that live over here, but
Hmm.
we all really congregate in Kansas City, which is there's two parts of Kansas City, but we typically congregate on the Missouri side just because we live so close to the border. Um, the pet community here is so accepting and inviting. I always do my best to like if I see somebody new at the bar or at an event, I'll be like, "Hi, I'm
Hmm.
Momo. It's nice to meet you. Do you know anybody here? Is this your first event?" And usually they get that little like deer in the headlights look, and it's like, uh, no. And I'm like, "Oh, buddy, come on. It's time to meet some people." And we always take them around the bar and introduce them to some people. So it's home. It's very inviting and welcoming, and we will talk your ear off.
Well, that's good. I
Absolutely.
love that. Just the I don't know how you would say it. It's just being able to hang out and chill and meet new people and
Yes.
talk and bark and howl and boot noses and nothing like in the world.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. It's very inclusive as well. I All of my friends here in the community have been very validating with my identity. We are very inclusive of all types of pets. Like I said, we've got kittens, ponies, cows. We got a bear recently, like a bear hood.
Oh,
A,
nice.
a, a gentleman who identifies as a bear. That's fun. He's a real sweetheart. We take people of all identities. Trans, non-binary,
Hmm.
cisgendered, whether you're straight, gay, lesbian. We take it all.
And it's the same down here, but I still find that there are 4 packs here in Orlando, and
Mhm.
95% are male.
Yes.
I want more females to get involved because I know they're out there. We just got to get them involved with it.
100%. I always try to cling to those members of the community. I'm like, hey, come on out. We'd love to see you. Like I love to see the diversity. We had one who was coming around for a while, and she got busy with some life stuff, and but I keep trying to convince her to come back out. I'm always like, come on, come back.
That's right. That's right. Well, this question I didn't have on here. In fact, I took it off a long time ago, but you had mentioned it in a message to me about pronouns, and I
Yes,
want to give you your chance to, talk about pronouns and stuff, since because I know that's important to a lot of us is making
absolutely.
sure. So go ahead. I'll let you talk about it.
Absolutely. So my pronouns are they, them, theirs. I always find that the conversation of pronouns can be kind of tricky. What I usually suggest to people who maybe are cisgendered or kind of identify with pronouns that match their appearance, is introduce yourself with your pronouns in spaces where, maybe it's like kink or it's a queer space. It
Mhm.
opens that door for inclusivity and eliminates that conversation that needs to be had of like, oh, hey, by the way, these are my pronouns. You misgendered me just a second ago. It opens the door to make people feel welcome and at home and safe, and understand that their identity will be validated here. So with my introductions, it's always, hi, my name is Pup Momo, my pronouns are they, them, nice to meet you. And sometimes I'll run into the trouble of people being like, oh, my name is so and so, and they kind of just drop it there, and I'm like, okay, pronouns, like, come on,
Yeah.
let's keep it rolling. And I haven't really struggled recently with the pronouns. It's always difficult at first when you kind of first come out. But everybody is very receptive here. I'm very lucky to have such a welcoming and validating community. Um, in terms of identity, I always find that kind of to be a little bit of a struggle sometimes,
Mhm.
because there are certain people who will use the term like good boy, like certain gendered terms that maybe don't quite fit with my identity, and that is, I think that's going to be a conversation for a while of just like, hey, if you wouldn't mind referring to me as just like good puppy, good pet, things that are kind of itches that like, praise bit, but also honors my identity as a non-binary individual.
And see that even helps me because I mean I mean, yes, I know about pronouns and I know what they
Right.
are, but I've never been around to the point where I know when and when not to use them and stuff. And that's why when you
Absolutely.
brought it up, I said, oh, let's talk about it on the podcast because there may be someone else like me that needs that education on it, and this would be the place to get it.
Absolutely. That's what I'm all about. It's something that I've really tried to push with my title year is representation for genderqueer individuals or trans individuals. Appearance does not equal pronouns, and that's something that I always like to tell people. It's always better to ask if you're unsure.
Mhm.
In introductions, that's the way to go. I always try to push it with people. Introduce yourself with your name and your pronouns.
There we go. So, all right. Well, we're now where you get to ask a question.
Uh,
So, I don't remember who the person is tomorrow, but the question will go to them. What would you want to ask?
Um, how are you going to push for inclusivity in your community, whether it's for other pets or people of varying identities? How are you going to make sure that those people are included and validated within your own community?
Wow.
I know, kind of a big one.
Well, no, because I'm just sitting here. This is Pup Nima from Bozeman, Montana,
Oh,
and the question was, how do we ensure that pups remain inclusive and non-judgmental
oh,
for
I
you?
love that.
And that's
Oh
for
my
you.
goodness. Oh, that one's for me?
That one's for you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one thing that I have been pushing for within my year again, is to make sure that we are including people who are, trans or genderqueer, or maybe identify outside the kind of stereotypical puppy spectrum. That we are including them in the conversation of being pets and honoring identities. it's something that I have included in multiple talks with some of the leather groups out here. I went out to St. Louis this last month to chat with their leather group out there about pet play.
Mhm.
And that's something that I always preach to people is ask pronouns, make sure you're validating identities, double check, make sure not everybody is going to be a pet or a puppy, and appearance does not equal pronouns.
Yep, very good. Well, if there's someone that down the road when this post watches this and wants to reach out to you, how might they reach out to you? What social media would you like to share?
Absolutely. So my Facebook, which is kind of what I mostly use, is going to be the pup. It's all one word. And then space Momo. That would be Momo. On all my other socials, you can find me as Show Me Leather Pet 2023. That'll be Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. So those are the places that you can find me. Reach out if you have any questions, if I can help educate. If you have any questions about the community here in Missouri or the Show Me Leather competition, which encompasses the state of Missouri,
Mhm.
I love to answer questions and educate.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Any last words from Pup Momo?
Um, Push for inclusion within your community, appearances and pronouns. Woof.
Well, it has been a pleasure getting to sit here and talk to you. Uh,
Absolutely. Right back at you.
I know it won't be the last time. So,
Oh, that's so exciting.
but I will be for sure talking to you very soon.
Absolutely.